Drew Holiday in the finals, 117 minutes, plus 35, 13 assists, no turnovers. This from Sean Grant, who does play-by-play with the Celtics. He's played 134 minutes since his last turnover in the third quarter of Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Well, where was this Drew Holiday last year for the Bucks?
Yeah, and then you had the Embiid tweet about did Milwaukee hand him the title with how things turned out.
Well, I mean, so it is an abundance of talent. We're talking. First of all, Porzingis was the best player on the court in Game 1. Mm-hmm. That tells you all you need to know. They're up 3 games to none. He doesn't even play last night. Tatum he scored 30+. Brown was amazing in the second half. There's no award called the unsung hero. We were on Derek White. He's not going to win the Finals MVP. He missed some open shots last night. His overall game was, he was awesome last night. So this backcourt of White and Holiday combined, he's good for 2 blocks every single game. He'll knock down a couple of threes, and it's like he fills the stat sheet at 16, 5, 4, 2. Like, again, not going to win the MVP, but he's been really, really good. Hauser, how big? Hauser knocking down threes.
3 threes early, And then,
Tillman making a 3.
Dallas is up 13 early, and then the Boston run, but it's all over but the crying now. But I'll tell you, we had so much juice and drama if Dallas would have won that game. If we come in here today talking about Dallas coming back down 21 with 10 minutes left, and it's here we go again, and they choke, and Tatum can't win, and they went 1 of 11 in a 7:57 stretch. It was a 22-2 run. As talented as they are in the firepower, how can you have 2 points in 8 minutes there? But they made the plays down the stretch and got the win. But if we come in today and they blow a 20-point lead with 10 minutes left and it's 2 games to 1, and I don't think we see Porzingis again, everything flips and then it's up for grabs.
Sure. But, I mean, you can't. So how did it not happen then? It's pretty simple, right? Everybody's playing well for the Celtics, and like 2 people are playing good for the Mavericks.
That's right.
And I don't even think Luka was that great last night. Kyrie was. He was really, really good. By far, best game, not even close. Who else was good? The bet at halftime, I laid a 1.5 with Mavericks at halftime, not the money line. P.J. Washington, first of all, gets the ball after the rebound. He's got Derek Lively down below for an easy dunk. Nobody's within 10 feet of him. How about you pass him the basketball, pal? Instead, he takes it himself, gets fouled, and he misses one of the 2 free throws. Thanks, buddy. You not only killed me with the OKC series, but now you were terrible in that first half last night, too. So you're not getting anything out of him for the most part to help you out. Kid has to go to guys like Hardaway. Well, he's so cold off the bench. He doesn't help. He had a couple of shots go in and out. But you see, when they go to guys like Hardaway, Exum, others, and they can't have shots go down, and then the Celtics put out Xavier Tillman, and he hits a 3, and then Hauser hits a couple of 3s, the Mavericks should have been blown out last night.
The frustration level with Luka, and we'll hear from Brian Windhorst in a second. It is, the numbers are there, but they are hunting him as they should on defense. And for him to foul out, and I know Humans has said this, and Bill 80, management does a newsletter every day, I was there with the Bulls runs, and you wouldn't see this happen in David Stern's NBA for a superstar to foul out like that and what happened. But just the incessant crying and whining and complaining and not getting back on defense, which led to a big wide open Boston 3 at the time that was huge. You got to get better defensively, and you got to cut this out. And for I don't know what he's even thinking when he has 5 fouls, what he's doing in that position with 4 minutes left, which was an obvious foul. He yells at him to bleep and challenge, which is absurd. And again, after the game, he's crying about the officials,
right,
and blaming the officials for the loss, which is nuts.
Let me get this straight. He's a very powerful guard. What does he weigh? Like 240 pounds. So he's a big fella. Like, he's not Steph Curry, not even close. So he's going out there last night, and he is being ultra aggressive when he already has several fouls, and he's using the off arm and off hand to like get position and swing, get beyond guys. How is it not a foul, pal? How? And then the crying is just relentless. And I like what you said earlier, and you pointed this out a couple of times. Tim McMahon has covered the Mavericks for a long time on ESPN. And he said, if you think it's bad on TV, and it's insufferable on TV, he said it's way worse when you're inside the arena at a game.
He said, no hyperbole. He complains every possession.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's looking and calling for a foul every time.
Now, is that because...
Which is staggering, but there's also, and Silver's done an incredible job, and you see the $70 billion they just got. But the 4 or 5 minutes going to the monitor, which he knows they have to change, and how guys complain all the time, he's not the only one, but are constantly calling, begging, looking for fouls, much like a wide receiver in the NFL. Every time there's contact and he wants the laundry and wants the flag.
I love how he thought that he was bigger than the team last night by getting that sixth call. Again, I totally agree with what Bill Adie said in the newsletter. I thought about it last night. Under David Stern, they went to replay, by the way, on top of everything else. I know you pointed that out, but they go and look at the foul and they say, no, that does not happen in 1990s NBA. Just doesn't. They're going to overturn it if the replay existed or not call it on the superstar player there. But then, like, the audacity to fall on the ground and have that look on your face and just the antics, again, of a child to scream at the bench, you're going to challenge that. Why? It was an obvious call, pal.
Well,
you can't use your arm like that to push a guy away.
Windhorst wrote about it today, that nobody can tell him anything.
Well, that better change.
I know. But you're so worried about upsetting the superstar. And then if he gets ticked off, then he's going to pack his bags. But Brian Windhorst with Scott Van Pelt on ESPN after the game, lighting Luka up.
I thought it was perfect that Luka fell onto the ground there in an unacceptable position to put himself in with 4 minutes left with 5 fouls, and then immediately looks at the bench and says, you better bleeping challenge it, as if it's the bench's fault that he just made a terrible play. I'm standing here in the Mavericks tunnel. Over there is the Celtics tunnel. That's where the winners are. If Luka's ever going to be a winner coming out of this tunnel here, he is going to have to use what's happened in this finals as a learning experience. His defensive performance is unacceptable. He is a hole on the court. The Celtics are attacking him. They are ahead in this series because they have attacked him defensively.
Yep, sure. Can't play defense. How has he made 5 All-NBA teams, and that's more than Steph Curry? That's disgusting. He's awesome. I get that. He is. But you also have to knock him and say he's one of the worst defenders that we've seen in a long, long time.
Mm-hmm. You also go back to the Timberwolves series. In one of those games at home, he goes off, makes a nice shot, complains, and Dirk is sitting courtside and tells him to quit yapping.
Good.
And they put the camera on him. And right. But Windhorst also nailed that about nobody can say a word to the guy. Like they're afraid. But someone has to just say, knock this off. And you can't come in there and be a superstar, how you fouled out, what you did, you bleep and challenge this, and then you meet with the media and you blame the officials and criticize the officials for what happened after the game. And good job by Doris Burke to point out, you got to get back on defense.
Oh, yeah.
You can't just sit there, act, again, like there's a sniper in the upper deck. Like no one touched you. You fall down, you're acting, then you lay there. Oh, here comes Tatum the other way, hitting a three.
So last night, the first number I saw in Game 4 was actually Boston favored by 1.5. It flipped this morning. Celtics Mavericks, point and a half. But here at Circa, when we got here, Boston was still laying 1. Now it's a pick'em. So it took a little bit on Mavericks here.
I think Dallas will get it done. I think I like what Julian Edlow said yesterday. Maybe they can taste it now and the pressure gets to them that they're 1 win away and get that 18th title. But I think there's a lot to pride, don't want to get swept, and they don't want to have them celebrate on their home floor. And it certainly appeared what Minnesota was all about in the last series. They avoid the sweep and then get housed in the next game.
I know.
Even though it was on the road and then coming back at home. So I expect Dallas to win the game, and I don't know what. You got to come back with the under. And we haven't been close here. We're 3-0 to the under. We haven't been close. So, we had those 237 and 240 totals,
right,
as ER mentioned in the 2 regular season meetings. 31-30 at the end of the first quarter, the vicious beat on the Mavs, and then that's all she wrote. We get, 51-50 at halftime.
I would say that Jaylen Brown, he's minus 280 to win the Finals MVP. He has to be like that big of a shot. There's still a shot here, though. If this does go to 5 games, there's a shot that somebody else could take it from him. Like Tatum could still win this thing. If he's really good and Brown kind of comes back to the pack a little bit in Game 4, and then we go to a Game 5 and Tatum's awesome in the clincher, like that could happen. But at the current state right now where we're in, Brown has to be a huge favorite.
Could Holiday? Or you
maybe.
He could?
Yeah.